Good morning. Good morning, Mike Whaley. Oh. So I only printed one piece of the sports car yesterday, a big piece, an orange piece. Um, Gotta say this orange is pretty crazy. It's very very bright. I had a weird. The nice thing about the doors being separated like this is I can reprint them later, so I'm not going to worry about it now. But I had a weird like layer separation. I don't know if you can see it. But yeah, I had a weird layer separation there. And it was on the back side, so I didn't see it as it happened. So, but the print overall still, it still worked. So um, I can reprint one door later. You know, it's a nice thing about it being separate pieces. Good morning, trolling for dollars. But yeah, this orange is crazy bright. Didn't really show up well on camera. Oh yeah. Who is that? I didn't see the I didn't have my list of participants up at the time. Is it Matrix? Oh yeah. Well, whatever. Again, I got a view for it because he showed up on the screen and an interaction for the thumbs down. So thanks. Morning, Vince. Yeah, go ahead and give me the views and the interaction. That's all good to me. Morning, wee Bob. It's all right. Yeah, I don't care. I find it funny, the gutlessness of it. Lacks any courage behind his conviction, that's for sure. So yeah, nothing's glued together yet, but so you can see the dash and the front window frame are done, and gotta kind of hold it in place. The lower frame is done, seats are done, wheels and tires are done, axles. So now I just got the front clip, the rear clip, and the part that goes behind the driver's heads, the trunk lid area. So 3 more prints to do, but they're all 3 long prints. You got 16 hours, 7.5 hours, and I think 5.5. and then the car will be done. Yeah, we Bob. A lot of it will. It'll depend on the. It'll depend on the machine. It'll depend on your slicer settings. Um, and your model. I mean, so it all plays into it. The quality, the STL file, the uh, the settings that you set on your slicer, because you can print at different layer heights. Good morning, Ed. Good morning, Jake. Good morning, Don. So yeah, you can the quality of your STL will affect the resolution, the the settings in your slicer, and the quality of your machine. It all plays in hand in hand. Um, but if you want a machine that prints pretty much straight out of the box and prints at good quality, then probably the cheapest machine that I could give that credit kind of credit to, where just right out of the box you're ready to go and make beautiful prints, it would be the Prusa Mark III. Um, there are lower cost machines that you can get as good a quality out of, but they take a little more tuning and modification sometimes, and it matters how much time and effort you want to put into tinkering with it. Yeah, actually, let me do you one better. Let me go to their website here real quick. Give me a second. We'll put it over here, and we'll go to the screen share. And there you go. Copy. I don't know if that link's too long. Yeah, the one I would say is ready to go. Well, this is the kit form here, so you have to assemble it. But the best machine for getting good quality with good customer service and all that straight out of the box, ready to go. Once you put it together and calibrate it, it would be I would give that nod to the Prusa. There are cheaper machines out there that will give you excellent um, print quality as well. I would for someone just getting started and not wanting to spend a lot of money. Um, you get pretty good quality out of the Creality Ender 3 as well, and it's considerably cheaper. Um, it will take some fiddling with, probably. I guess you probably do need the EU plug where you're at, don't you, Weebop? Anyway, the Creality Ender 3 can be had for 180 bucks. There's some assembly, and then you probably have to spend a little more time tweaking and dialing it in than the Prusa, but it's a cheaper machine that would get you started. I would recommend it if you're not wanting to spend a lot of money to get started in the hobby. Good morning, Mike. Never let the machines win. The machines weren't winning last night, but the splitting headache I had was winning last night. So I ended up I didn't do my music stream last night because my headache was killing me, and just didn't feel well in general. And so yeah, patience is required with all 3D printers. Um, I recommended the Prusa Mark III just because it probably requires less patience than most. Yeah, it's a little easier to convince somebody if you're the wife. I call mine the CFO, the Chief Financial Officer. Uh, it's a little easier to convince someone to dive in on a $180 machine than it is a $750 machine. So your best bet might be to start here. It gets highly recommended often as a first machine, mainly because of its price point and its quality at that price point. Yeah, I would agree with that. Trolling for dollars. The Mark II is also a good option. It's a little bit cheaper and is still the Prusa quality machine. So I mean that gives you a couple of different starting points. Whether you want to start with a machine that is a high end consumer grade machine, or if you want to start with a lower end but still decent consumer grade machine. You got options. Yeah, my first machine, which was the Tronxy X1. Um, it requires some printed upgrades to make it a decent machine. When it first comes out of the box and put together, you're not going to get good prints out of it. It's just you can't. It requires some reinforcement to a couple of the carriages and the addition of a part cooling fan. So, and it's like $120 machine, I think, 120, 130. Yeah, the Creality machines, the Chinese, the lower end, lower expense Chinese machines. Good luck getting any kind of support. You'd have to lean on the community a lot to figure stuff out. But that's the great thing about the community is there are a lot of people that are here and willing to help. Um, but yeah, the Prussian machines, they all have good quality customer support and and good build quality and engineering. So it might be, if you don't mind spending the money, it's a good place to start because you have help where you need it. But if you don't want to spend the money and you like to tinker and you want to lean on the community if you have questions or problems, then a machine like this will be just fine. I I'm not trying to make it into a business at all. It's purely a hobby. I have my dream job already. I'm a musician in Nashville for a living, and I get to make music for a living, and that's my dream job. I get to do it. I love what I do. So for me, this is nothing more than a hobby. If it turns into an income source at some point, a viable income source, that's great. But if it doesn't, that's not what I'm in this for. I got a mention on the Community Ketchup stream last night, which I think is extremely cool. I was very honored. They showcased the VSV on Community Ketchup last night and talked about it a little bit and talked about the things that I've been designing, which I thought was very very neat. I was very very honored, and if any of them come back and watch this at a later date, I'd like to thank the whole Community Ketchup crew. That's awesome. So thank you. Um, like I said, I went to bed early last night. I didn't feel well, and I got up this morning, and my Twitter was blowing up with notifications of being mentioned on the Community Ketchup, and a bunch of new people were following me on Twitter. So that was neat. Very very honored, very excited for that. So there is the next piece of the car, I guess, that I'm going to print that I need to slice and get going today. And I'm dropping stuff. It's the part that the doors, when they close, they meet up to. Back here, it's the back end of the car. Community Ketchup is it was started by Pooch and Travis. Um, Pooch at Repcord and Travis at Pyro Designs, um, and then Heather from the 3D Pink Mafia. They started that. They do a weekly stream called the Community Ketchup, and they talk about all the things going on in the community, what people are printing and designing, and stuff like that. And it's a weekly stream they do every Wednesday night, and it's very cool. It's very cool. It's a they do awards every once in a while called the Catchy, and the award is a little ketchup bottle thing, and just sort of neat, that they update everybody on what they have witnessed going on in the community. And so, yeah, if you're like on Twitter and you've designed or printed something cool, um, put it on Twitter and hashtag Community Ketchup, like a ketchup bottle, ketchup. Yeah, like, and they'll talk about it. If it catches their attention, they'll talk about it on their next stream. Is it every other Wednesday? I thought it was every Wednesday. I could be wrong. I don't know because I don't get to watch it because it happens at the same time as my music stream that I normally do every Wednesday, but I didn't do last night. It's the first time I've missed it since January. But I had a splitting headache, and singing when you have a headache is hard to do. So I just decided, look, I've done it every single week since January, and I haven't taken a single week off, and I don't feel well, and so I don't know. I could potentially um, regret it and decide to do a music live stream at some point later this week so that I don't totally miss it. I just didn't feel up to it last night. So let's see here, Blender. So this is the car that I've been printing right now, which is actually, it was the Jeep that I converted my Jeep into a car by just manipulating the vertices, and the I've got everything printed, but the front clip, rear clip, and trunk lid now. The three largest prints left, or three out of the four largest pieces are left. The largest piece is the frame, but it's done. It's where I always start my prints, is I start with the frame. So yeah, hope everybody's doing well today. I didn't line up anything real to talk about, so maybe we'll start something fresh today. Yeah, if you're not looking for anything to move, you can design it all as one solid piece. Yes. Um, I design it in multiple pieces for several different reasons. One is so that it can be printed in the colors that I want it to be printed in, and when assembled, it would just be done and not have to have any post processing or painting. But secondly, for the mechanical aspect of it, being able to have wheels that turn, and so being able to have wheels that spin and doors that open and close. A Datsun. Well, the problem with that, Jake, is I refuse to design anything that somebody else that is somebody else's intellectual property. So I do everything. It can be inspired by, but I will do no exact copies of anybody else's intellectual property. Intellectual property and copyrights are a very important thing to me, since I am a songwriter and I make my living playing music, and then before that, I made my living, as a software developer. So, um, or well, web developer that developed web-based modules and things like that. And built full-on websites, but I did PHP development. Made we made websites that worked like WordPress and Joomla before WordPress and Joomla existed, and we would do them as custom deals for clients so that they could log in and update their website and upload files and things like that. We built all that stuff before that stuff existed as a open source solution that people could just download and use, and that was coming along right around the time that was starting to pick up steam, right around the time they outsourced my job to India. And so my job, if I had still been in that field, would have had to have changed dramatically anyway. So it's it kind of was the timing worked out. They outsourced my job to India. I collected unemployment for a while I got my music career rolling as a full-time thing instead of a weekend hobby. And music has been my full-time job since July 15th of 2009. So the last thing I was working on the Jeep was started developing a trailer hitch, because I want to make some trailers and different things to go on those trailers. I want to design a little like military attack boat. It'll be fun. Yeah, this is the stuff that I do now. Design work and 3D printing. I just do this as a stress reliever and to get away from stuff. Because even as much as I love my job, and I do love my job, there are aspects of it that stress you out. There are aspects of it that you just got to get away from. And the funny thing is most of it is caused by other people, other people's drama, and they make it your drama. So I just typically like to avoid drama. Yet everywhere you go, somebody wants to cause you drama. Like my thumbs down trolls. Thumbs down trolls are trying to cause drama here. What they don't realize is it's their thumbs downs are so insignificant in the grand scheme of things that I find it funny and sad for them, really. I mean, how sad of a life do you have if the thing that gives you joy is going into somebody's YouTube video to give them a thumbs down? How sad does that make your life? Well, don't be upset. Don't be upset that you can't do things. If you spent half as much time actually learning to do stuff, as you do hating on other people who are doing stuff, you might actually be able to do something yourself. No, man, I even enjoy when I have issues trying to troubleshoot where they came from. But that's the tinkering nature of me. Like right now, I would like to know why I got layer separation right there. Just right there. That's the only spot I got it. I have no idea why. The rest of the print looks fine. Just in that one spot. Just the layers didn't adhere. They popped apart. Maybe if I bump the temperature a couple degrees. Because like I said, the rest of the print looks fine. Why that one spot would choose to separate like that? Maybe there was a contaminant of some kind on the filament there. Some dust or something. I don't know. But I just opened that roll, yesterday. So I don't know. This is the IC3D filament that I won. That I won on the drawing on Fun King 3D's channel when he did his 1 year anniversary bash. And I finally got around to opening it up and printing something with it. I was hoping to have more printed today, but like I said, I didn't feel well last night, so I didn't come in and start another print. That was printed at 2:15. 2:15. Robbie Mack was in here and he uses IC3D filament, and he said that his seems to print best between 2:15 and 2:20. So I ran it at 2:15 and it looks good everywhere except that one spot. Now I updated Cura yesterday as well, which it's funny, after I updated Cura, it seems that my supports are having a harder time coming off, so I need to dive into Cura's support settings and see if 3.5 changed something there. Because I've never had supports as difficult to come off as the ones I sliced and printed yesterday using 3.5. So I'm guessing something changed in my support settings between 3.4.1 and 3.5. The supports are adhering themselves to the model too well. There's an extrusion issue with the new Cura. So 3.5 is having some extrusion issues, huh? So yeah, I haven't looked into support interface line width, roof line width, floor line width. I'm sure it's somewhere in all that I need to change something. Really? Huh. That's interesting. And that's just since they released 3.5, huh? Looks like they'll be on 3.5.1 fairly shortly. And none of the new printers they've added are working right? I know Don was excited for them to be adding the Wanhao duplicator because of his D9. Yeah, sorry I didn't plan anything out for today. We're just kind of hanging out with each other today. See what GearBest has for new printers. iFormer Orange 120 Desktop UV. Yeah, that Weedo would have to do something really special for $1,600. I didn't even get to watch Neary's stream last night. I saw he was putting together and doing the A20M. I got to go back and see how that turned out because that is a very curious printer at that build volume and form factor because I like the way it looks. You know, it's a good looking machine. And 255 by 255 by 255. You watched it, Don? So it looked like it's going to be worth $400. Because essentially the A10M is just a slightly smaller version of this. The spool holders are wrong. No, excuse me. Sorry. Then yeah, because it's a considerable price jump between the A10M and the A20M, and it's only a little. The A20M is just a little bit larger. Otherwise, I don't see anything drastically different between the machines. I mean, this is 255 by 255 by 255, and the A10M is what? 220 by 220 by 260. So you're gaining 35 millimeters in the X and the Y and losing 5 millimeters in the Z for, so is it worth $140 more to go to get 35 millimeters in X and Y build volume? Because they otherwise seem like pretty much the same machine. And they're a little deceptive with their whole Wi-Fi thing. They make it sound like it's cloud slicer and remote control and all that. But that's from a separate add-on. The 3D Wi-Fi module is an optional add-on and for sale. So you have to buy a separate thing to do that. And I've seen some reviews on that G-Tech Wi-Fi module, and it doesn't seem to work as well as it should. I don't know. This one seems like it's targeted to compete with the Ender 3, while the A20M looks like it's targeting the CR20 because they seem to be clones of those respective machines. I don't know. Let's design something. Let's design something. Oh. New. That's what we're here for. That's what we're here for. Let's go into the text editor. Let's open the desktop, screencast, run script, go back to 3D view, start display. There we go. Let's design something. Cylinder. The big deal, big news going on here in Clarksville right now is still that manhunt they got going on for the guy that's killed a couple people in the last couple weeks. That they still haven't been able to find him. There's been some sightings and whatnot, and they tried to bring in a professional tracker to track him, and the tracker refused to help because the tracker was scared. So um, the tracker basically called this guy like they called him he said the tracker said this guy's like Rambo. He's out there in the woods and he knows those woods like the back of his hand, and I'm not going in there because I'm not going to end up dead. So um, and so like every news report since then, the Tennessee State patrol and stuff are like, he's not Rambo. I'm like, you're darn right he's not Rambo. He's 5'10", 153 pounds. That's no Rambo. So what I'm doing now is using the circle select tool to select all these faces. And then use the circle select tool again to deselect the top faces here. Whoop. Don't know what I hit there. But at least this time I have the screen capture keys on, so I remember to do that so you guys can see what keys I'm pressing. Right now I'm making filling in these gaps by selecting the edges adjacent from each other and hitting F to create a face. Oops. Which if you hold down the shift key you can select multiple of anything. If you're like, I'm in edge select mode right now, I'll hold down the shift key to select both of those and hit the F key to create a face between them. How you doing today, Clyde? Hope today is going better than yesterday, my friend. So what I'm building here is I've been needing to get around to building the turret for the back of the Jeep, and I'm gonna start with the bottom and work my way up. The thing I struggle with is I really suck at designing guns. I'm just not good at it. But, you know, practice, practice, practice. I'll get better. And for the NSA, if you just tuned in because I said designing guns, not real guns, toy guns. Toy guns for 1/18 scale vehicles. Not real guns. Just seen that Cody Wilson douchebag got arrested. All right, so what I created here is a ring to hopefully snap down into a circle. So we'll have a circular hole that the diameter is just slightly larger than where this ring's diameter is. And these tabs being a little bit larger will kind of be press fit down into there. It should snap down into the hole. Now, that's the hope. That's the hope. Which should allow for the circle to rotate within this circle to rotate within the cutout circle, if that makes sense. Did you ever get your canopy situation sorted out, Don? Aha, you found the problem. Excellent, man. All right. So that's the base ring for a turret, which should allow it to rotate 360 degrees. Now to design the part. I think that should be enough of a. Still eat those faces. Let's go with this. All right. We have a solid disc. Now with the that snaps into place. The next step would be to build the part I could just go with a simpler post design. That might be better actually. Let's make cube. Let's get the cube down. Morning, Joe Paddock. Oh man, sorry to hear that, Mike. We'll all keep you guys in our thoughts. Hope it's good news from the doctor. All right, man. Well, keep us posted because that's nothing to play around with. So. All right. Well, let us know tomorrow, man. Um, one way or another. Post it in Discord or something. Let us know how she's doing. Good morning, Ben. How are you feeling today? Are you feeling better? I'm doing okay. I had a kind of crappy night last night. Doing all right. Sounds like a nap is in your future today, Ben. Hmm. I hear you, man. I'm down to one kid now. Down to just the one. But he's enough of a handful all on his own. Actually, let's just do this. See what this looks like. Now, the thing I just did there, you cannot do without the add-on that I purchased. And that was the reason I purchased the add-on. which I'm drawing a blank on it. It's box cutter and hard ops. Hard ops is what gave me the ability to quickly smooth that out. Get rid of So now this should give us the 360-degree rotation using this. And then I need to put a pin through there. And this should be an arm that will give us movement this way. And then repeat this up above for the gun mount so that we have that sort of articulation as well. All right. Add another cylinder. Scale it down. Rotate it 90 degrees. The X. Scale it down. All right. Huh. Okay. Brian Vines, how are you today, sir? Hmm. So I'm really not sure what I'm doing here. This is a experiment, possibly gone horribly wrong. All right. So we have 360-degree rotation here. We have articulation forward and back here, where we can keep the, like, say you have a laser pointed this way and you rotate the arm down, you can keep the laser pointed that way. Now, you know what we need to do that we haven't done yet? Save. In case my computer does one of its random wanting to restart things. Because it did that again yesterday. Just randomly restarted. There's almost always somebody streaming up top. Almost always. Ah. Sure, Mike, if you want to, man. Because I'm only planning on going till 10. And everybody's been kind of quiet today. No one's had any questions or. Whoops. Stunned them into silence. Just Broadway. You know, occasionally I'll play a fair or festival, um, but most of the bars like that I played at back in Missouri, um, even the ones I'd love to go back and play at, they don't have the money to afford for me to bring a Nashville band. It would end up being out of my pocket to get to go because now we did work out one of the bars I used to play at and loved to play at. I got the chance to stop in and play there on my way back from a fair. We played a fair up in Northwest Missouri last year, and so on the way back, since we were passing through anyway, I was able to book it at a reasonable expense for them and convince the band that hey, we're passing through anyway, we might as well stop and play a show and make a little extra money to to help cover the expenses of the trip. And so we played up Northwest Missouri on like I think it was a Saturday, and then Sunday on the way back through. Yeah, Sunday on the way back through, we stopped and played at the bar that I used to play at in St. Louis, just outside of St. Louis, and had a lot of fun. And then loaded up the gear and hopped in the vehicle and continued on the drive back to Tennessee. Got back into Tennessee early Monday morning. So I'm kind of designing this one, I think, leaning towards the lines of a missile launcher. But what I'm working on here, the cool part is this will be able to be shared, across platform to just design a different weapon to put on top, and guns, missile launchers, all sorts of cool stuff. Maybe even like radar looking equipment, and then all I have to do is design. Uh, Replace the design of the opening trunk for the Jeep to be a solid piece that doesn't have a hinge and put a hole in it that matches the size slightly larger than the inner ring there. So that'll snap fit into. See. I gotta still add some details and stuff, but there's the basic form of a 4-missile missile launcher. Might have to stretch it a little bit lengthwise to fit a little longer missiles in it, but that's easy enough to do. In fact, I'll show you how easy it is to do. See what it looks like if I just scale the whole thing on the X. Yeah. So there we go. delete these, and tab back, mirror y, not the x. All right, so the reason I did that is now any changes that I make from here on will be symmetrical. It will happen at the same time on both sides. So we want to take this one here, we're going to inset the face. Scale that a little bit along this Z a little bit. Extrude, make a little bump out. Scale that along the Z. It bumps out too far. Bring that in. Just to add. Alright, so see a little detail I added right there? By mirroring it like that, cutting the model in half and mirroring it, it shows up on both sides at the same time. So see, yeah, as we start adding detail, we can add it both sides at the same time. So now we got, you know, a little vent, looks like a little control module or something sticking out there, or venting. Blender is open source and absolutely free. There are plugins and stuff that are available for it that are not free. I recommend once you really get into it, a couple of plugins called HardOps and Box Cutter. Those are just $37, I think, for both of them. So not a massive amount of money. They're very handy plugins to have. But Blender itself is free. It's an open source software, and 2.8 is coming out here in a couple months. It was originally supposed to come out in October, but they pushed it back to January. And 2.8 is going to make Blender even more powerful than it already is. But Blender is a very, very powerful tool. Hello again, trolling for dollars. You must have made it to work. Yeah, man, I really enjoy Blender. It's not that complicated to learn. Hey, John. Thanks for the shout out and letting me know that I was on Community Ketchup last night, man. Tweeting at me and let me know that because I did not get to watch last night. Very, very honored to have been represented there. That's awesome. Thanks, trolling. I think we're getting there. Just kind of, giving it some details to make it look a little more interesting. Community Ketchup. Um, I believe they host it over on Travis's channel, don't they? On Apiro Design. Um, it's Repcord Pooch from Repcord, Travis from Apiro Design, and Heather from the 3D Pink Mafia. They do this show called the Community Ketchup, and I believe it's on Travis's channel at Apiro Design. And Pooch and Travis are the geniuses behind the Repcord Rep Box. Travis does some amazing work with laser cutters and stuff like that. He does some really cool stuff. And then Pooch is a very well respected, valuable member of the 3D printing community, and Heather in the 3D Pink Mafia. And she thinks I should print a Jeep in pink. If I had some pink, I would. Why not? Give me some pink and some white. I'll print the frame in white and the body in pink, and it'll look like a Barbie Jeep. Cool. Yeah, they do a regular show called Community Ketchup on Wednesday nights. Someone said it's every other Wednesday. I don't know. Wednesday I'm usually busy doing my music stream, so I don't get to watch. But I didn't do my music stream last night. Wasn't feeling well. Feeling a little bit better today, thankfully. You get some more detail going on the front here. The front looks boring. Let's make the front look a little more exciting. There we go. We have a turret. A missile launching turret. Copy it. Now we need to scale it. Ah, I accidentally. Get that back in here. Rover's here. It's just quiet. We're glad to have you at any volume, Rover. Rotate it 180 degrees. This piece needs to be higher up, about there. So now, let's rotate that back a little. Need to add some detail with that arm too. There you go, guys. I'm sorry if the rendering is slowing down the stream, but we built a turret today. That as soon as I get around to having the opportunity to reload the green filament in, I can start printing it out. Now it's a war machine, not just a Jeep. It can do some damage now. And I'll model some missiles to print out for it too. And then just like G.I. Joes do, it'll have missiles you can pull out of the little slots. And I'm successfully completed it before 10 o'clock. That was my goal, was to have the turret design before we ended the stream at 10. And hope you guys like the design. I like it better than the guns that I've tried designing in the past. I just thought I suck at designing guns. I'm gonna go ahead and try a missile launcher, and I think it came out much better. I'm gonna go back and add some detail to that arm, and then I got to make a solid version of the trunk, but that'll be easy, and cut a hole in it. Well, what I'm doing right now, trolling for dollars, is just allowing people who are Patreon patrons to have early access to the designs, and that's at any level. If you pledge a dollar a month, gets you early access to the designs. This this Jeep, the Jeep itself is already available to patrons, and Roy Holly has been the first one to print it and share it with me, and he did a phenomenal job. It looks really cool, and yeah, you know, the plan is for these to go, you know, public after a certain amount of time that the patrons have had. You know, I want to make sure they've had ample time to print it and have plenty of early access to it. Yeah, I will design some missiles for it next. That's next, but missiles should be pretty easy. But that's why I did actually leave the openings to be sized for missiles. We'll print out some missiles and stick some missiles in the slots. I'll print out the launcher, the turret, and figure out if there's things that need to be iterated with it, and design some missiles and print those out and slide those in. And I may find that I need to glue the arm in place so that it doesn't move. I'm going to try to make it with really tight tolerances so that it will be adjustable, and see if I can print it out that way. But I would like it if it's can be articulated, you know, if my tolerances are tight enough on those pins that once they've been driven through, the you know, it'll stay in place. If not, we'll go back to the drawing board and we'll figure out a new way to do it. That's the beauty of iterative design. But you know, this piece here wouldn't necessarily have to change. This piece here could stay pretty much the same. So even if I got to go back and re-engineer the turret arm, then so be it. Yes, yes, thumbs up or thumbs down, you know. And if you give me a thumbs down, let me know why. You know, don't take the coward's way out and just thumbs down and run. But let me know why. And appreciate you guys hanging out today. I hope you enjoyed watching me build something. Okay, I'll check that out, Rover. I haven't really ever looked at that closely at a camera mount, but yeah, maybe do something similar to what they're doing. Oh, like I said, Don, I'm fine with either. Doesn't bother me. Just if you don't like it, you know, let me know why. What can I do better? So anyhow, appreciate it, guys, and that's been our time. If you want to support the channel, the links are below, but that's not why I do it. And special thank you to all the patrons out there that are already printing the Jeep and supporting the channel. Thank you guys for that. And I look forward to designing more cool stuff and continuing to add functionality and features that will be printable and you can add to the Jeep. So, and well, in all the designs as they continue to come along. And hopefully in the next few days here, I'll be able to unveil the sports car. I'm going to release the four-door files necessary to print the four-door version of the Jeep on for patrons. And yeah, that's and I'm getting text messages, so it's that time. Um, thank you all so much. You guys are awesome. We'll see you next time. And I don't know if somebody else is going to pick up and start streaming now, but if so, you know, you got a few seconds to pop it out here in the chat and let us know that you're going to do that, and everyone can come bounce over and hang with you guys. Thank you all so much. You guys are awesome, and we will see you next time.